Fantasy Stories Part 4. Well, here it went on. 4 pairs, round black glossy eyes were all fixed upon James. And poor James was backed up against the far wall, shivering with fright and much too terrified to answer. "What's the matter with you?" old green grasshopper asked. "You look positively ill." "He looks as though he's going to faint any second," the centipede said. "Oh my goodness, the poor thing," the ladybird cried. "I do believe he thinks it's him that we are wanting to eat." There was a roar of laughter from all sides. "Oh dear, they said. "What an awful thought. You mustn't be afraid. You mustn't be frightened," the ladybird said kindly. "We wouldn't dream of hurting you. You are one of us now. Didn't you know that? You are one of the crew. We're all in the same boat. We've been waiting for you all day long," the old green grasshopper said. "We thought you were never going to turn up. I'm glad you made it. So cheer up, my boy, cheer up," the centipede said. "And in meanwhile, I wish you would come over here and give me a hand with these boots. It takes me hours to get them all off by myself." Well, there can be questions for reading for details. There can be questions for reading for meaning. There can be questions for reading for ideas, writing down a summary, and then there is vocabulary along with word association. And then we've got the part for the grammar, the present tense, the perfect tense, the present perfect tense. And then we have got the speaking activity describing a fantasy landscape. Fantasy stories are very common in our lives. We read them in books and comics and see them on television in movies. One of the best things about fantasy stories is that they give us chance to visit new and exciting places. In a fantasy story, we can go to another universe, travel underwater, fly through the air, and stand on the highest mountain peaks of the world. In this exercise, you will work in groups to describe a fantasy landscape. This landscape may be form of a story, a comic book, a movie, or a computer game. The important thing is that all the members of your group must be familiar with it. Begin by giving a short one-sentence description of this fantasy landscape. Start with the following sentence. Our fantasy landscapes comes from blah, 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 blah. And then you can do it all along with it. You can have your thinking skills, brainstorming. To be a good writer and speaker, we need to be creative and original thinkers. Brainstorming is a process that allows us to improve our imaginative skills by generating many different unexpected ideas. Brainstorming is a very important tool for it, and this is where we can have every member of our group who has to contribute an idea. We can have all suggestions which can be accepted, and we do not have to come up with the idea for every prompt content. There can be different ideas and provided in a sequence, in a gradual sequence. Once you have come up with your new vision of Singapore, give a short presentation to your class about it. Begin with the following sentence. In the year 2100, living conditions in Singapore will be blah, 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 blah. After the presentation, discuss these questions as a class. So you can note them down on a piece of paper. You can have your coordination with the other ideas. and you can certainly provide your ideas on your piece of a paper and the notebook as well.